Mike Garafolo from the NFL Network. He joins us every week. So, of course, we have to talk to him on what is usually Black Monday, but not a ton of coaches fired, just a couple. We're going to get to that in a second. First, Bill Belichick not giving much away, Mike, in terms of his future in New England. He's obviously earned the right to think about this a little bit. Do you have any insight at this point as to what he might be thinking and when he might make a decision, or when Robert Kraft might make a decision for him, Mike?
I think it's pretty clear, and the messages, I know you said he didn't say much, but he left us a couple of breadcrumbs the last couple of days. He never talks about his contract, all of a sudden now saying I am under contract, and also saying that he was amenable to a potential change when it came to personnel, bringing in a general manager, more of a traditional structure, which they haven't necessarily had. He's had his say, Belichick has, over personnel since he's mostly been with the Patriots. So it's me reading this from this side of the camera saying this is a guy who's telling us that if he's not with the Patriots in 2024, it's on the owner. It's on Robert Kraft. I believe that Belichick wants to stay. I also believe that, A, he's got the passion to continue coaching. He has said that. And B, feels like he's still doing a pretty good job. And when I talk to offensive coaches who are facing the Patriots this year, they said, boy, that defense is playing so well. They're so sound. They don't beat themselves. All of the things that we've been hearing about Belichick coach teams since he's been up there in New England, it's really about the offensive side of the ball and getting the quarterback position right. Now, they're sitting at third in the draft right now, which gives them the opportunity to do that. If you're Robert Kraft, you may say the best coach that I could potentially bring in might be no better than Bill Belichick right now. So I think there's still a chance he could stick there. There are going to be conversations. We didn't expect this to be something that was going to be resolved in one day, may take multiple days. So we're just going to have to continue to watch this, Jay. I'm not necessarily where I was a couple of weeks ago, where I thought that it was a foregone conclusion that Bill Belichick was going to move on. I think there's still conversations to be had and a tough decision to be made by Robert Kraft.
And as I mentioned before, Mike, there were a couple of coaching casualties on Black Monday. Arthur Smith with the Falcons, Ron Rivera let go by the Commanders. So now 5 head coaches fired since the beginning of the season. Do you expect that number to increase over the following few days?
I do. There's still a few under consideration. Now, Pete Carroll up in Seattle said that he plans on returning and has the energy to come back here. So it would have to be Jody Allen, the owner, firing Pete Carroll, which I'm not sure that she would necessarily do that. Dennis Allen with the Saints expects to come back. I would expect that as well. And Matt Eberflus with the Chicago Bears. We had been leaning toward him returning, but we never told you that for sure, and I still don't believe that for sure. I do know this. The Bears have told prospective candidates we're going to have some conversations internally over the next couple of days and then make a decision about the return of Matt Eberflus. These Bears have been playing extremely well down the stretch here, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to have to make a decision on Justin Fields, and I'm sure that that's part of the conversation that they're having with Eberflus. What's his plan on the offensive side and for the quarterback position? Does he think Justin Fields should continue to be the guy if they are sitting there at number 1 with the chance to upgrade at the quarterback position through the draft? These are some tough decisions for the Chicago Bears because, again, Eberflus and this coaching staff have really shown that they're kind of hitting their stride. Fields has made it a tough decision at the quarterback position. It'd be a lot easier if they weren't sitting at number 1. They'd say, okay, we're seeing something with Justin Fields. We can continue with him. But how many opportunities do you get to be in the top spot of the draft? So we're still keeping an eye on Eberflus. And then, there's always a surprise as it goes along. I know some folks talked about potentially Todd Bowles if Tampa loses. I don't see that. He did a great job with Baker Mayfield and a stripped-down roster. So there are some we're watching, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be as big a number maybe as we've seen in the past as far as the number of coaching openings, Jay.
Wild card weekend. Some say the best weekend of football the whole year. 6 games. Mike, we're going to go rapid fire with you. Something you have your eye on each of these 6 games this weekend and on Monday night.
Well, let's go chronologically. Let's start with the Browns and Texans. You got Joe Flacco and that experience that he has. Certainly has played in Super Bowls before. And then you've got a rookie coach in DeMeco Ryans and a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud. So how is that gonna line up? Sometimes the guys that don't have the experience, they wind up playing looser. What they don't know tends to be to their advantage sometimes. So let's see about that. I give the Texans a fighting chance in that game. The Dolphins really banged up. Andrew Van Ginkel as well as Jerome Baker, 2 linebackers, now going to be out for the postseason in addition to a number of injuries they've had before. The good news is Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle looks like they may return. So Dolphins definitely banged up, but getting some reinforcements. Will it be enough for them in this game? The Steelers, they're going to have to play an ugly, sloppy, low-scoring game. They're going to have to play the game that they played against the Ravens to have a shot against the Buffalo Bills. The weather seems like it is going to be a bit nasty there, so maybe that'll play to the Steelers' advantage, but they're going to need some mistakes from Josh Allen, a la the ones he made the other night against Miami, which he was able to overcome, and sometimes he's able to do that. As for the Packers and the Cowboys, Jordan Love absolutely dealing. When I talk to folks in Green Bay, they say, look at the confidence that he's playing with. He's starting to play with a little bit more swagger. He's not just making the right decisions and the right reads. He's doing it with a little bit of pizzazz as well. So let's see if he can continue that into the postseason. Then you got Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff going up against each other. What a great storyline this is. The two guys that were traded for one another. And I give Goff credit to still be the quarterback in Detroit when a lot of folks, including myself, thought he was just a throw-in and a bridge quarterback in that trade there, and he might have played himself into a contract extension going into this upcoming offseason. And finally, I talked about Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers.
Yep.
I can't believe that the Eagles are actually considered the favorite in this game at this point. As badly as they have played and as injured as they are, Jalen Hurts has got that dislocated finger. They popped it back in. There were no fractures there, so the expectation is he will be able to play in this game. He tried a glove on the sideline briefly the other day, took it off, didn't like the feel, went back in and threw with his bare hand and ripped it, as Nick Sirianni said. So the expectation is he should be fine. A.J. Brown, he had that ugly knee injury, but I was told on Sunday night and again on Monday, the expectation is that that is not a serious injury and he's got a chance. They could get Devontae Smith back as well. We keep saying, can they find that magic again that they had early in the season? Nick Sirianni told his team last week going into the game against the Giants, we have willed ourselves to wins in the past, or we did early in the season. We've got to get back to doing that. They just seem like they can't get to that point right now. Let's see if they can just flip a switch. I think it's going to be hard to just do that all of a sudden.
Everybody's counting the Eagles out, so maybe this is the moment they finally come back and fly, Eagles, fly. Mike, this weekend, I know you're going to be very, very busy. How do you feel about poutine while you're watching all 6 of these games? Just like Harvey's Poutine, they're our new title sponsor. It's terrific poutine, Mike. And I know you're a poutine. I know you're a squeaky cheese guy. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I am. Here in Jersey, they call them like disco fries, where they do the brown gravy and the cheese on top of them. So it's kind of our spin down here. It's a late night deal here in Jersey. That's what you get at the diner at 2 a.m. But I'm down for it during the game, that's for sure. So send some poutine my way. We'll find a way to keep it fresh in the mail.
I appreciate that. This is Mike Garafolo from the NFL Network, one of the very best.